Hello, everyone, and welcome to BodyBags. I'll be your reviewer for today. I'm Lonnie from Tats, and I'm sure you know this week is a random week, and I decided that I wanted to review the documentary from Dark Star Pictures, King on Screen. And yeah, this documentary runs about 105 minutes, and I think you pretty much, just from the look of it and the title, I think you pretty much already kind of have an idea what this documentary is about. It's, basically a documentary detailing a lot of the experiences of directors, screenwriters, actors, producers, actresses, people who had worked on movie adaptations of, adaptations of movies based on Stephen King's books. And, and if you're a Stephen King fan, then yeah, you're definitely going to find this documentary is quite insightful. Um, I certainly did, but the only thing is, though, is like if you're somebody like me, okay. Well, first of all, let me say that at the beginning of the documentary, there's this kind of a bookend that kind of bookends the beginning and the end of the documentary. And the thing is to watch this bookend at the beginning and end of the film, it really does help. The more of a Stephen King fan you are, because there are a zillion and one Easter eggs related to Stephen King stories in this bookend that they put on this documentary. So clearly, the more of a Stephen King fan you are, the more of his books you've read, the more of his stories you've read, and everything else, the more you know about him and his work, the easier it's going to be to pick up a lot of these Easter eggs. Because, some of them, if you're a casual Stephen King fan and you've seen a number of the movies and stuff like this, like you're watching is like, okay, you recognize, okay, this shot mirrors, The Shining. Okay, so this woman is going into a kind of like an antique store. It's called Creep Shop, Creep Show, obviously. There are so many references to needful things, and you hear a voice, you find out, on a kind of like a intercom loudspeaker. You find out the voice is Dee Wallace from Cujo. As a matter of fact, about that time, you see somebody walking with a Saint Bernard, Cujo. You see a car that looks suspiciously like Christine. You see um, you know little appearances by Amy Irving, Alexandra Paul from Christine. For let's see who else. Let's say Amy Irving from Carrie, Jeffrey DeMunn from The Green Mile, Shawshank Redemption, Storm of the Century, and on and on and on. So watching this, like, if you're a casual fan, you'll pick up on a number of these Easter eggs. But you got to be kind of like on your toes, and it's like if you watch it, once or twice, and, if you're like me, if you've read you definitely dedicated yourself to reading the books and watching the movies and stuff like that, and being a Stephen King fan, oh, you'll definitely pick up on this stuff. If you're a casual fan, yeah, you'll pick up on some of it, but some of that stuff is going to go over your head. And if you're somebody who's not really a Stephen King fan, you're going to be sitting there mostly like, why am I watching this? What's the point of all this? I guess this is supposed to be stuff from his books or something. I don't know. But anyway, then you get into the documentary, and the documentary is just basically a solid, series of interviews, talking with a number of people who worked on King films. Like, like right there, you can see Tom Holland, who did two King adaptations, Thinner and The Langoliers. You see Stephen King himself and Frank Darabont on the set of The Green Mile. They do talk to that one there. I don't remember that one, but yeah. So they do. They talk to Frank Darabont. They talk to Mick Garris. They talk to Mike Flanagan, Taylor Hackford. Just so many people who had worked on adaptations of King's books. I forget their names, but the two directors who did the remake of Pet Cemetery, they talked to those guys. Um, let's see what else. Uh, yeah, just I can't remember everybody's names right now and stuff, but and then they talk about like they talk about Stephen King as a person, and how his personality does translate into his work. And they talk about, King's views on things like religion and politics and things like this. And, King is somebody who, tries to, that is one thing, King, his work is more about people and it's about the characters, not so much the situation. It's like there's an old saying in a Stephen King book, it's not about the haunted house. The book is about people who just happen to live in a house that's haunted. And so they talk about, his ability to write great characters and, interesting stories and everything else and to make it work and try to create a great time frame and everything else. But and a lot of it is just talking about like their, just how happy they are to have had relationships with him and just, what fans they are of his books and everything else. And, just how his books have just reached so many people and the film adaptations, like, yes, some have gotten a lot of praise, some not so much. But, yeah, so just, talking about things like that. And, it is interesting if, and they do explore and discuss some of the decisions that they made in adapting his books into films or his short stories or novellas and things like that. And that's really about all I can say about it. Is just it's I mean, if you're a King fan, like I said, if you're a diehard King fan like me, this is going to interest you. If you're a casual Stephen King fan, this is going to interest you. If you're somebody who's not so much of a Stephen King fan, but you're curious, you want to learn more about it, or learn more about him and his works, and like what makes him tick, what makes what's the maybe what's some of the motivation behind the filmmakers when they adapted some of his books into films, and why did this director? I mean, of course they do bring up Kubrick and The Shining, obviously, of course, but so if you are kind of like I am curious, like what was the motivation of some of these filmmakers when they did hit the adaptations, like okay, were some of them like really interested in trying to be as close to the books as humanly possible? Were they did some of them just not care? Was it just a job? Things like this. And what did they think was important, like in King's books? What elements did they think was the most important aspect that they needed to get across in the films and the film adaptations and stuff? So, but yeah, I mean, it is a good documentary, and it is interesting, and I do actually recommend it, especially if you are like me, you're a Stephen King fan, you love reading his books, you love watching the movies. Well, for the most part, there are a couple of movies of Stephen King's that they did from Stephen King stories I can't stand. It's like that. Speaking of which, yeah, that when they did that remake of The Stand, that was atrocious. That was disgusting. And I think they even talked to that Josh Boone, and on there, I was kind of like, dude, shut up. I don't. Yeah, I saw your stupid remake of The Stand, and honestly, it just I really don't want to hear from you. Now, Mick Garris, who did the 1994 miniseries, and everything, is like, yeah, I mean, when he talks, I want to listen. But the other one's like, nah, I can do without. And, stuff like The Lawnmower Man. I know that movie has its fans. And if you like the movie, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to put you down or anything like that. I'm not trying to personally attack you. I'm just sorry. I could not stand that movie. So I gave it a fair shot. I just couldn't get into it. Sorry. But anyway, so yeah, but I mean, like I said, if you're a casual Stephen King fan, you're going to enjoy this. If you're a diehard Stephen King fan, yeah. The thing is if you're, you're just like, you don't really care about the movies, all you care about is the books, then I don't know. This might be a little bit of a curiosity for you. It's like, well, I kind of want to know like what some of the motivation was, some of the thinking was going into adapting his books into these movies, or or you may be just like, no, I just care about the books. I couldn't give a rat's ass about the movies. Then yeah, this documentary isn't going to really impress you all that much. But yeah, I mean, I would definitely say it's really, really good, and it's definitely insightful. I will say, however, though, if you're someone like me, who, like I said, I've watched the movies and I've watched bonus materials on the movies and things like this. I've listened to audio commentaries and stuff like this. So a lot of the stuff that they're saying in here isn't really anything new. I mean, it's nothing I haven't heard before. But you know what? Still, as a King fan, it's great to have this documentary, and and it's nice to have like this one place where all this stuff is in here, so all this information. And I would say, yeah, if you are a Stephen King fan, go for it. So you're gonna enjoy it. I certainly did, and like I said though, and it's gonna be fun if you are a Stephen King fan. Like I said, you got the bookends at the beginning and the end of the documentary, and like I said, the more it's gonna be kind of fun because if you are a big Stephen King fan, the more of the Easter eggs and the little nods and winks that you can pick up on, the more fun you'll have with it. But yeah, I would say go ahead and watch it. I can only say, if you're a Stephen King fan so many times. But yeah, if you are a Stephen King fan, then you're definitely going to, and you like the movies, even if maybe not all of them, but you do enjoy the movies and you're curious about them, and maybe you haven't watched the bonus materials and stuff, I would definitely say, yeah, you're really going to like this documentary. So I think that's about it. That's about all I can say about it. Definitely one of my shorter reviews. So if anybody took the time to watch this, I thank you for doing it, and I appreciate you for doing it. I honestly hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, could you please leave it a like? If you haven't already, please go ahead and subscribe to the BodyBags channel. We have a different reviewer, one for every day of the week. I am the I was getting ready to say Saturday. I'm the Friday reviewer, and yeah, I'm still really really happy to be a part of this team, and looking forward to keep on working with these guys, hopefully for quite a while to come. So that's it, everybody. Take care. Have a good night, and I'll see you all later.